On Monday, D. Riddick flipped his commitment from UCF to USC. As you can see, summer recruiting is still going strong for the Trojans. There's a couple more targets still on the board that are going to make their decisions this month. Also, we got to talk QB recruiting. What is going on between USC and Texas A&M QB commitment Hon Longstreet, and how does that impact Julian Lewis? I got USC insider Scott Schrader on this video. We're going to break it all down. But first, USC fans, go ahead, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel. This is the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube, and we love talking Trojan recruiting, so jump on board, hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring in Scott Schrader from We Are SC, looking at a couple big names that are going to be coming off the board this month. Let's start with Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams is the #1 safety in America. He's from the state of Texas, and he's been trending to the Longhorns, but we know USC is a factor in this recruitment. As we're about 2 weeks out, where do the Trojans stand, in your opinion?
Well, they think they're still in the mix. I was actually surprised to hear that was the response about Jonah Williams, but I wouldn't say they're enthusiastically positive about getting him. But you just never know. I think it's been proven we've been wrong a few times here this summer, and this could be another one. But I just based on everything I'm hearing, I think you're hearing the same thing. It's kind of sounded like Texas. I think that was a big addition when they hired Schloss as the baseball coach, and that could end up being the deciding factor for all we know.
All right. Now, the next prospect we're talking about is a big one. Literally. Nick Brooks is 6'7", 360 pounds. He's at Grayson High School in Georgia, and it seems like Georgia, Texas, USC battle here. We know NIL is a factor. So where do you think the Trojans stand in this recruitment?
Yeah, just based off the feedback I got, it sounds like this is going to be a Texas USC battle. Georgia, I think, has kind of filled their needs at this position, and like you said, the NIL factor is going to be big, maybe the primary factor. So, I'm not prepared to make a prediction or anything like that, but this was a situation where it might be all of the staffs hadn't really heard much from him for a while, and it was maybe about a week or so ago where things picked back up with USC, and this would be obviously a huge addition for their offensive line class.
Now, has Nick Brooks set a date yet? I don't believe he has.
Nah, yeah, I think Chad was the one that gave us our latest update on that. It was the 23rd or the 30th. So okay. No, I don't think there's any definitive date yet.
All right. Now, wide receiver Phillip Bell has a definitive date, and that's going to be August 31st. He's a Cali kid. It looks like it's coming down to Ohio State and USC, and he recently had a quote where he said his mind is, quote, made up. So does that bode well for USC that his mind is already made up?
Yeah, well, a lot of times these guys, their mind is made up, but they forget to tell the staff that they're going to maybe tell the future. But I think that this might be a situation to where some issues that have come up in his life may make an impact on this, and I think that it went from looking like it was going to be definitely Ohio State to where this is a real tight battle. And, I think that, if USC is able to pick him up and get a commitment from him, they'd be almost pretty much done with their wide receiver recruiting class. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have like a prediction for this one either, but, USC is definitely in this one big time.
All right. Let's get to the quarterback talk. What is the latest on the interest or communication between quarterback Hon Longstreet, who's committed to Texas A&M, and the USC coaching staff?
Well, hey, where we're at right now talking about Hon Longstreet is something that it started probably back during spring practice when towards the end of spring ball, USC they were practicing some days at 5 a.m. and he showed up for one of those 5:15 practices, which meant to get from where he lives, he had to probably get up the day before. Not really, but it's an hour and a half drive, and obviously probably 2 a.m. he had to get up anyway. Yeah. So when I kind of checked in on him and what the status was, USC was just covering their butts. Last year they went all in on one quarterback. That's kind of been Lincoln Riley's MO since he's been a head football coach, and so they're basically covering their butt. And Julian Lewis is clearly the guy they want, but at the same time, USC doesn't want to go into the football season having to wonder what quarterback they're going to be bringing in December. So this is a situation to where I think that perhaps we might hear something publicly here in somewhat the near future about Julian shutting things down. But if he does not, I'm not really sure where this is going to go. But right now, Julian Lewis is their top guy, and Husson is a guy that will be the obvious choice if Julian ends up somewhere else.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Julian really much at all this summer. He commented on a couple visits, but as far as his commitment status to USC, he hasn't come out and said, I'm shutting it down. He hasn't really said anything. Now, he did back in May in Nashville at the On3 Elite event tell me that he was going to make some sort of statement. So as we're about, 4 or 5 days from the start of the high school football season, what's this Hon Longstreet communication mean for Julian Lewis? I know, you said he might come out. Do you think that this flirtation with Longstreet is kind of meant to force Lewis's hand into making a, quote, final decision?
Yeah, it may. I think there's a legit interest, and there's also legit interest in getting things squared away and solidified with Julian Lewis. So I think there's a couple of storylines going on there. But it's a situation to where it kind of caught me off guard that the communication picked up. Lincoln Riley really hadn't talked to him throughout the entire recruiting process, and that didn't really sit well with the family. And I think they finally got on the phone with Riley and they talked it over, and he explained why that he was, he had his quarterback, and it's just kind of the way that he's operated. So, now we're at the point where I think that USC just would prefer Julian kind of solidifying and letting everybody know he's solid.
So what's your gut say? When this is all over, who signs with USC? Is it Julian Lewis, or are you taking the field?
I mean, right now, this is one of the things about recruiting nowadays. It's hard to go all in with what your opinion is. Right now, I have no reason to believe that Julian Lewis will not end up at USC.
Okay. Good. Fair enough. USC fans, talk to us. Let us know. Comment section below. What do you think of the Hon Longstreet, Julian Lewis? What's your opinion on what's going on right now with quarterback recruiting? And also, the month of August is here. How is USC going to finish? Let us know. Who's your next commitment? Comment section below. Scott Schrader with We Are SC. Thank you for dropping by on the Inside Scoop today.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Well, you've made it to the end of today's video, but there's hundreds more videos on the On3 Recruits channel for you to check out. And also, while you're here, hit subscribe.